Hi everyone. Hey, welcome into the building. Thanks for hanging out with me this I'm saying Saturday, y'all. This Sunday afternoon. I hope y'all watched the latest. Well, actually, you know what? It was the final episode of Love and Marriage DC. Did y'all watch it with me? Are you here because you're watching? And you said, Bree, you said you said Monique was just live. She is delusional. Okay, so I missed her live. You gotta tell me about it. I feel she's straight delusional. She's unaware of how she seems or appears on this season of Love and Marriage DC. You gotta tell me what she talked about. If you don't mind, you can tell me in the chat, or you know what, you can I dropped the link. You can come up and just chat with me. Hey Thelma, thanks for stopping by. What you say, Abby Child? Monique is so out of order with Chris. She's out of order and out of pocket. Okay, with her husband. You said it right. Thank you. Hey, DB, I didn't watch. I'm going to watch later, so y'all have to catch me up. We're going to catch you up, girlfriend. You ain't missed much, but you know what? It was good to watch because we had to watch the final episode before we get into the reunion, right? Hey, happy to be happy. I'm so glad you're here. So thanks everyone for stopping by. So before I get into this week's episode of Love and Marriage DC, which was the final before the reunion, I want to tell you about a couple things. One, I'm doing Atlanta tomorrow. Tuesday, I'm going to do Married to Medicine. I'm not sure what's going to happen, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, but I do know on Saturday I have another author in the building. She wrote this book called The Waiting Game. Let me take this off the screen so y'all can see. She wrote this book called The Waiting Game. She will be in the building Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I hope y'all stop by to hear from her. It's a really easy read. And pretty much she's going to tell you, how do we hold on and hold out while we're waiting for those things that we want to be. So, check her out on Saturday, and I will be giving away one of her books. And listen, everyone, when I give away something, please email me because I want to get it off of my checklist. Email me so you can connect with me and give me your information so that I can mail you whatever it was that you have won. Okay, so please do that. I'm going to welcome real quickly into the building. Hey, Robin, how are you?
Good afternoon, Diva. I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing well. So did you see this episode? We're going to get into it.
I sure did.
All right, we're going to talk. Give me a minute. I'm going to give a little recap. And Karen, you knew I haven't seen you before. Hey, are you there? Karen, are you there? All right, I don't know what's going on with Karen, but Karen, I'll try to bring you back up later. Okay, so we're going to get into this. All right, so listen. We open up, they're still on this little trip, right? They're still at the house, and they're saying the fact that Kevin, what is her name? Winter's I guess he's the ex-husband now, but at that time he wasn't quite the ex-husband yet. They felt like Kevin stopping by kind of helped bring the rest of the group together because they realized how crazy and delusional that Kevin was, and it somewhat brought them closer to Winter. So they kind of had that little closure there with Kevin stopping by. And Winter also said that, you know what, I was glad he came. It gave me a little bit of closure. And, the other people kind of got to see who he really was, right? Then they have this, before they leave, they have this IV therapy kind of booster. And, Monique is into that type of stuff. And hey, fine. Not sure if everybody did it, but it was going to boost their hydration. And then Ashley said, let's play a game. So Ashley plays this game. And what do you think about this game that Ashley played?
You're asking me?
Yes.
I thought it was not needed. I wasn't interested in that. I thought that when it led to the little tiff that she had with her husband, I thought that was kind of way ridiculous.
It was.
It didn't make sense. It was so immature. It was sophomoric. It was such a throwback. And it really was just, I felt like filler.
It was kind of a filler, right? So they kind of play this game and they have this little box where they go around with questions. And so Quick pretty much explained how when he was younger, or when they was in the early stages of being a couple, right, that he cheated. And this was over 20 years ago. And the fact that she got so mad, I thought, like you said, was so ridiculous, right? All right. So over 20 years ago, he cheated, but y'all been married for how many years now? Y'all have how many children together? And y'all had a good life together. Like, are you kidding me? Like, you really getting pissed off about this? But, so many people have said it that kind of Quick and Ashley really didn't have a storyline. So like you said, it was a filler, I think, just to give them a little something to kind of talk about. But aren't we a day late and a dollar short? Because this was like the season finale show. Games for kids. These are grown married people playing games. Yeah, it was just, yes, it was ridiculous. It was a stupid game. And they kind of talked about, having what do you call it? Like what we learned about, what is her name? Darn it, Tasha, right? Tasha and her husband kind of, they met kind of high school. They had sex early on. Then they kind of, broke up and kind of got back together. So it really wasn't much to that particular scene. Anything else you want to say about that before I move on from that?
Yes, that is the most we heard from that couple all season.
I know. So you know what? It's like, in a way, I'm saying to myself, if they do come back, is Tasha, do we want to hear from Tasha and Neil? Do we need to give them more opportunity to actually speak up? Because they're not using their words. They're kind of like just there. They're like I don't know. Hey, Diva friends. Oh, New York in the building. Hey, Sonia. Go ahead, Robin.
Like what you said. They're more like props, and yeah, you would imagine they were on the show for a reason, and we don't know if they filmed a lot and were edited out. I kind of thought that there was, when he spoke up, I was like, say more, because we haven't heard from them at all. We know nothing about them except she used to do Monique's hair.
Exactly. Nothing at all. So yeah, you're right. That's the word I was trying to figure out. It's like they're just props. They was just there. It was just fillers. It was just like, so we can have another couple on the show, especially I think since Winter and her husband really, wasn't together. Now, what I don't know, what I would love to know is, was Winter and her husband scheduled to be one of like the main couples, but maybe before they started the show, they actually ended up breaking up? I would like to know more about that. Did they even talk this episode? You know what? I mean, I don't even know. You're right. They didn't talk, because when they asked the question at the couple's dress up, I don't recall them even answering the question. Do you, Robin?
Not at all.
Yeah, I was like, did I miss it? And I watched it twice. I was like, did I miss it again? Like, this is crazy. So let's talk about the.
You remember who they dressed up as? Because I don't.
Yes, I do, only because I wrote it down.
Okay.
They were Erykah Badu and Andre 3000.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
She played a good Erica Badu because when she first presented herself on the show, she had that kind of artsy, type of vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Diva, I think they was a major couple of the show. I hope we get the answer at the reunion. Well, you know what? I hope we do get the answer at the reunion. So I think maybe that's why. Maybe they threw Neil and Tasha in at the very tail end because Winter and her husband wasn't going to be able to be like a couple because they had already was going through trouble and was breaking up. So maybe that is the case. Yes, yeah, Winter and her ex-husband were part of the main cast, but then Winter pulled out because of the divorce. It makes sense, right? But what she should have did was instead of pulling out, she should have just let us see real life. It's supposed to be reality, right? Let us see real life. Let us see you actually going through your divorce with this man and tell us more about what happened and what led up to it and how you actually fell into his web, so to speak, by not even really dating him because it was the pandemic. We need more than that, right? Because once the pandemic started to lighten up, you could have stayed dating him for a while to truly get to know him before you married him. So hopefully we'll get more answers from Winter. Like I said, in August, I want to say it's August 8th or the 9th, she's coming here and doing an interview. So the couples dress up, right? Monique and Chris was Little Kim and Biggie. I will say this. If Monique allows Chris to speak, I think we would see a whole nother side of Chris because he did a good job portraying Biggie. I thought he did a really good job, right? Irena and Jamie was Beyonce and Jay-Z. Quick and Ashley was Ike and Tina. Neil and Tasha was Erica Badu and Andre 3000. And Winter came as herself. So they just went ahead and I think they did give her a good title. They said that she was Yolanda Adams. But Winter, it was kind of like she was the odd man out for this couples trip. And, they really couldn't include her and intertwine her. Now, I will say this. A lot of the other shows, when they have a person that is a non-couple, they still kind of include them. I think they had trouble including Winter because it was like, she was out of place at this couples trip. I'll kind of say that. So now they're here, they're doing their little dress up thing. And the question is asked, which I thought was a really good question, but it turned out to be very messy. The question was, if you met your husband today, would you still marry him? And I'm probably paraphrasing it a little bit. And that question got absolutely messy. Now, as much as Irena and Jamie seem to have gone through throughout their marriage, I appreciated his answer. He said, I don't need nothing long and drawn out. He said, absolutely yes. Okay. And Irena pretty much said the same exact thing. And as always, and as usual, with Monique and Chris, is always going to be something messy, right? So Chris was trying to use his words. And I'm going to tell you why Chris always trips up on his words, because he walks on eggshells, like he says, right? Every time he tries to open his mouth, if he says one wrong word, Monique won't even let him get 2 seconds to clean it up himself. She pounces on him. She jumps on him. She criticizes him. She drags him for filth, so to speak. Yes, Mo was just nasty once again to Chris. Nancy, I'm telling you, wasn't she though? She's just too much, just doing the most. So he pretty much was explaining how, yes, even though Monique, I want to say he said that she's mean, she's controlling, difficult. Okay, he had a whole lot of adjectives about Monique, right? He listed them all, and he said, but still, at the same time, I would marry her again, right? And then he tried to explain. Now, listen, this was a high school sweetheart. Monique, you got the man, you got the kids, you live in the house. You know that man didn't mean no harm. All he was saying is, huh?
4 houses.
4 houses.
Remember, did we learn that when she was on RHOP?
You know what? You are correct. You are correct. 4 houses, right? So 4 houses, and you're still acting crazy, okay? You're still acting crazy about this man. Like he can't even say anything, right?
Is she?
So he tries to do a little comparison, but the comparison is still putting Monique up on a pedestal.
She and
Um,
Kevin was a part of the show, but right?
Karen, I think if you have me in the background, you gotta
Ah,
mute me. Who was that?
ah, okay.
Okay. So, he's putting Monique up on a pedestal and she just loses her mind. Don't compare me to nobody. I mean, what do you think about this scene, Robin?
I I think so differently about Monique now that she's on this show.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I wonder at times, does she even like this man? And he told us in the show, when we saw him tell her, "I love you to death." He has told her that time and time again. She knows it and she uses it as a weapon because almost nothing this man does seems to please her. And
Yeah.
I was pretty angry for him.
I feel bad for the guy.
Yes. Karen, you're on. Are you there?
Hello?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Okay. What do you think about this whole scene with Monique?
I think Monique. I don't think she in love with Chris no more. I don't
Mm.
think so. I feel bad for Chris because I mean, you could tell he's so in love with Monique, but I don't think she want to be bothered with him. I mean, she showed it time and time again.
Yes, she's doing the most. I just thought that scene was too much. I felt bad for Chris. He
Yeah,
apologized in the moment. She says thank you, but her facial expressions don't match up. Her facial expressions, her body language doesn't tell me
yeah,
that she's sitting next to a person that she loves. I mean, every chance she gets, it literally, if he opens his mouth and says one thing, it's like boom, she's on him. Monique is doing the most. I don't think she loves
yeah.
him.
She
None of us
is.
do. None of us
She
do.
is.
Yeah.
I think she
Monique.
get what she
uh,
wanted. She doing her own thing. Is she an executive producer of the show?
Nope.
Is she one of them?
Nope, I don't believe so.
I don't
Oh,
think
okay.
so. I don't think so.
Can I say this
Yes.
really quickly? Really interestingly, I wondered the exact same thing just this morning when I was reflecting about the show. And I was
Mhm.
online trying to find out, all the people involved. And I could not find any information outside of it being a Carlos King production. Because I was trying to see if she was credited. I can't imagine that she's an executive producer, mostly because of how she is portrayed on the show. She would never want to be seen so poorly. I believe she would. She's such a control freak. She would never let the truth happen.
But see, she doesn't see it the way that we see it. That's the thing. So it isn't that she doesn't see this show and the way that it came across. She doesn't see herself as looking bad. Something is There's something not right upstairs, in my opinion. Monique likes all of the things that Chris has and does, but she doesn't want to be with Chris. PK Joe, I agree with you
Yes,
on that. I
I
agree
agree
with
with
you
you
on
with
that.
that part. Yes,
Yep,
yes.
I agree.
I
She
don't think
already
she want to be
planted the
bothered
seed
with him.
that they won't last another 10 years. She did say that earlier, right? She
Hmm.
did already plant that seed, so to speak. Monique doesn't deserve Chris. She has no idea how blessed she is. She doesn't
No,
know how blessed
no.
she is. She needs
Do
to
y'all
be in
see the
these streets.
reunion clip?
Go, go ahead.
Do y'all see the reunion clip where Carlos King asked her the question that he asked her?
Yes, because a lot of fans been saying that. A lot of fans have been saying that Monique is just setting herself up to divorce Chris. And again, she's pretty much like, no, that's not. And Chris laughs. One thing I'll tell you that Monique knows. Monique knows 100% for sure that Chris would never leave her. He even did
Yes,
a live and said that he would not leave Monique. Monique doesn't, yeah. But Chris needs to release Monique to the streets,
yes.
and let Monique see. And I'm telling you, he needs to let Monique see that life ain't that good out in them streets. You not gonna
Exactly.
have four houses. Some people barely have a house.
Boy,
Um, you got four. You can tap into his bank account and he will give you anything
yes.
your heart desires. If
And she
Monique
have the
looks at
lifestyle
something, Chris
too.
forget it. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
She have the lifestyle too.
She got the lifestyle too. And he's coming on this show and being punked. A lot of men wouldn't even go for that. I'm sorry. In the confession with Chris was talk about walking on A shores. Yeah, I remember that. Rewatch. Look at Mo's face. She was ready to Well, now well, I gotta look back at it now. Watch her.
Now you
Ellie,
see why
you
Chris
wanna
mother
stop.
don't like her.
Go
Now you
ahead.
see
I'm
why
sorry. I can't hear you.
Chris mother don't like Monique.
Now we know
Chris
why.
mother, right now we know
Yes.
why. Now we know
Mm-hmm.
why. Initially, I'm telling you, I was like, yo, Chris mother is a pill. But now we know that the mother knew everything that we're seeing now. Hey Diva, does mama doesn't like her. Yeah, she doesn't like her. He is alone enough. He's another Will Smith. Listen, he got a lot. Chris is a saint for dealing with what he's dealing with Monique. Did you recognize the flaws on her flaws? I did not catch Shem Rashid on the Real Housewives of Potomac. Now, I knew she was messy, right? But all of these reality stars, they got a little mess with them, so to speak, right? But I didn't see this side of her, not at all. I just finished watching them on IG. They look happy. Well, they always look happy on IG. I saw IG that I had to turn off one time that they did. And that's the IG where I felt like I knew Chris was wrapped around her finger but she did the same in the IG that I saw between them. The same thing she does to him on the show is the same thing she does on the IG. He gets to speak when she wants him to speak. He can only say what she approves of, so to speak. And this week episode showed it, right? You get
Mhm.
pissed because he's bringing up some chick that he probably haven't seen in over 20 years. Come on now, Monique. He's just giving you an example. Like, what is the
Exactly.
big deal?
She just want to start an argument. That's it. Come on now. That's a pass.
Yeah, she does. Monique needs to go back to now, y'all. You said back to the car. So that was crazy. And then talk about the disrespect and he said pretty much he left it off like I would marry her again, right? So
Oh my God, that's
when
embarrassing.
they go to Monique, I was mortified, right? She pretty much, without really saying it, she pretty much said, no, I wouldn't marry him again.
Exactly.
She did
Wow.
say no.
Yeah.
She
She
said
said, yeah,
she said she wished it
yeah.
was like it was before they got married. She felt like marriage ruined them, that they should have just stayed together, been soulmates, and had kids.
She,
You know what?
she right, go ahead.
I was wondering, does Chris do all these? We know that he's blinded by love for her, totally. And
Yeah.
now she's doing all these things in media and entertainment. And I really think that he does it. He participates because he wants her to be happy. Because
Right.
remember,
100%.
Mm-hmm.
when we met her through on Potomac, we learned that she wanted to be a rapper. So she's
Hmm.
always wanted to be on stage and in the spotlight. And so at
True.
every opportunity, there she goes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
supports her all the way. Mm-hmm.
He will do. I don't care what it takes for him to stay in this marriage with Monique because he truly, truly loves her. He will do anything,
Yep.
including lose himself. Then we don't know who Chris is because he can't be himself because Monique won't let him, right? So now
Yep.
they go to Monique. Pretty much, she says, "No, I wouldn't marry him again." And she always gives a laundry list of reasons why Chris is just not good enough.
Mhm.
And he just sits there. He just sits there, even when he's hurt. Lord, I forgot about her wanting to be a rapper. Yes, she wanted to be a rapper. Um, and Cameron, I don't know if that's your mic giving feedback. It's
Oh,
giving a
let me
little
see.
feedback.
Okay.
So yeah, she wanted to be a rapper, but then remember after she had that fight with Candace, she did a whole song, and she was, I guess singing and doing a little singing career, or anything. You said it's frozen, or no? I don't. I hope is the screen frozen for everybody else.
No.
Okay, so we're good to go. So happy to be happy. I think you got to maybe go out and come back in. So yeah, Monique is just a mess. I didn't like that. I cringed for Chris. I thought it was so messy. I'm just like, this is your husband. Is this how you really want to treat your husband on TV? This is the legacy that you want to stay out there on TV. I thought it was a bit much.
100%.
Yeah.
She is like the villain. She's horrible. And one thing I find interesting about her being on this show is, except for learning that she is just not a nice woman to her husband, there was all this hype. This is what's so interesting about, you didn't know the real me from Potomac, and she was put up as being the star and the centerpiece of this show. And I said,
Mm-hmm.
no, she was a pawn. She was not. She was like the lure on a hook, right? Because she's not really why we stayed at watching this. I know for me, I was interested. They like to bring in somebody that we know
Mm-hmm.
from someplace to draw interest. Because I think that the real stars of this show are Ashley and Quick.
I do too. I do too. And then Arena and
Jamie.
Jamie follows right after, right?
Mm-hmm.
They follow right after. Yeah, there was the rumor that Monique cheated. I don't think it's far fetched, right? I
Not at
don't think
all.
it's far fetched, especially because the way that she treats him and she disrespects him. Um, when he stated he wanted to do coaching, that's when she decided to do radio. Well, Monique, I think she's in competition to prove something that she's never going to prove to at least me by watching this show. I think she's a whole hot mess, and I think she is highly disrespectful to her husband.
Mm-hmm.
So now we got to move on to Quick and Ashley's answer. So of course, Quick is another one. Pretty much, he said yes. I would marry her again in a heartbeat, right? That's how I'm going to summarize his up. And then Ashley playing the games, she met Quick. I don't know the age difference between them. I meant to look it up before I got on this live, right? I don't know the age difference between them, but she pretty much, it seemed like she was much younger than Quick when they got together and got married. And unfortunately, she had to help raise him up to be the man that he is today or is in their marriage, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
and I get that, but what Ashley doesn't know is that sometimes it doesn't even matter the age difference. A lot of
Right.
females, and no disrespect to the guys, a lot of females have to do that in their marriage, right? They gotta have to show their spouse how to be a spouse, how to be a husband, how to be in a relationship, with them. And she seemed like she had to do that for Quick, and she has a little bit of resentment. And now that's why she kind of saying like, now it's my time. Now I'm gonna do my thing. Now I think she could have said all of that and still said that yes, I would have married him again. I think it's messy when you're telling your current spouse if you can do it all over again, maybe you wouldn't. I just think it's messy. I don't know what you think about that, Robin.
You're 100% right. I was like, if anybody says anything but yes, we have a problem.
Don't
I
we
think
though?
that it's definitely a problem if you say anything but I will marry you again, because that's like it's gonna make, I know me, I would wonder forever. Is this real? Do you love me? Do you like me? What have we been doing these past X number of years?
Exactly, exactly. And so I'm just like, yeah, I was like, okay, Ashley, my thing is, listen, if I were to do a reality show, I'm not going to do it to the demise of my relationship. I couldn't want money that bad. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it wouldn't be that serious for me to get money or to have money. So I wouldn't be sitting on no TV telling my husband if I had to do it all over again, I probably would not. Unless I knew we was already headed for divorce court and everybody else on the show knew also. The
Mhm.
high level disrespect, I don't know if the editing team edited it out, but why did we not get to hear answer from Tasha and Neil? I mean, they was in the room.
You know what, the Tasha and Neil thing, now that it was mentioned that Winter and her ex-husband were to be main characters,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna turn to production, say they were lazy as all get out. Because the one thing that they did bringing Tasha on was that she actually has a relationship and a friendship, I think, friendship with Monique, and had production taking time, because they were in enough scenes that they could have done something to develop their story, or to, excuse me, to get them to tell their story, not develop, but we could have heard from them. And I just think that they were lazy, that the people who were assigned to do Winter and the scammer, they said, my job is done, I'm not going to do it, I'm not going to talk to these people and find out what their dynamic is. I'm not going to figure. And I think that was a mistake, because they they're the only other ones that really had some kind of friendship that was long lasting, um, on the cast, in my opinion.
Yeah, you know what I think too? I think that Neil and Tasha got a story. Because Tasha felt some type of way about having sexual relations with her husband because she afraid to have this baby. And my thing is, listen, why can't you, you as a married couple, you can't figure this thing out? And he
And
kind of go ahead. Hmm.
I mean, we're talking about two things. First of all, you're not in 12th grade anymore,
Right,
right?
right.
So if you haven't figured it out by now, then we'll say that you're that couple from the 90 Day Fiance where she's having a second baby. What, you know what I'm saying? And they
Hmm.
didn't take any kind of precautions, really. So that was pretty lame too. Maybe they didn't want. Maybe they're kind of like not too bright. Maybe they're about maybe at 40 or 60 watts as opposed to 100, and they want to let us know.
Wait, whose relationship is given mother son versus husband and wife? Obi, whose relationship are you saying is given that? Yeah, I can't believe she said that on yeah. Y'all gotta tell me whose relationship are you saying given husband and mother and son and not husband and wife. Again, rewatch Mo during Fun Size Proposal. You could see her mind running a movie that it was her and definitely not Chris. Sorry, just can't help watching the body language. Says a lot. Her body
Wow.
language says a lot. Oh, Ashley and Quick. Wait, y'all don't think Ashley and Quick are really are like together? Oh, that's interesting. Okay, you know what? I do like Ashley and Quick together. I don't think they had a storyline really, so to speak.
Mm-mm.
But I did like seeing their dynamics. I think even though I'm not in love with everything Ashley did, but I do feel like Ashley got the assignment of reality TV. She was messy. I didn't like her messiness, but she was messy and she was given reality TV, right? But and I think that they went so far, like her whole storyline was being mad at Winter. And then I guess at the very end, she figured, let me do something. Because the reason why she got mad at Quick, it was bogus. It was ridiculous. It was no reason, right? And
Right.
so now, um, let's see. Let me see. What was our next scene that we have to talk about? Oh, this scene right here. Monique, she does the most, right? So that's pretty much happened. They left the house. They all go home. Now, Monique and Chris take the kids and they go horse riding, right? And then Monique speaks to Chris. And Monique had the nerve. I was like, does this girl realize what she did to her husband on the TV? She had the nerve to say that he embarrassed her when he brought up the old chick from 22 years ago or 100 years ago. He embarrassed her. She gets mad because he doesn't get it. And every time she tries to bring up something, he tries to counteract it. And, he gets mad at her. Listen, God bless Chris. I don't know how he's doing this. I mean, what did you think about that scene and her crying, talking about how she was embarrassed? I'm like, girl, you embarrassed this man since the show started. And now because he said one little thing that wasn't even really enough, no dig against you, you're embarrassed?
You know what I took from that scene? From that scene, when she was saying all those things, and then she started talking about herself, I said, so are we now to believe that the omniscient, mean, horrible person is that way because she's insecure? Is that what we're supposed to believe?
I think that's what she was trying to sell us.
Mm,
And she came and she added the tears to it to make it seem better. And then again,
ridiculous.
still, he's like, I love you, right, Monique? She knows you love her, and she knows you will never leave, and that's why she's playing you in front of this screen. Chris needs a
Mm.
hug. Chris needs a hug. Yes, he does, from somebody
And
who
a
really
divorce.
cares. Yeah, you said in a divorce. Monique has outgrown Chris. She needs to either stay with him or leave. Stop bashing him. You know what, Chris? 1913. I totally agree. Stop bashing him. Chris cannot be a man. He needs to leave. He needs to leave her. It's clear she does not love him and finds every opportunity to belittle him and embarrass him. I agree. I agree. I think we all seen that this year. Monique's always changing the issue back to making Chris look bad. She turned the narrative. Yes, she did. Cassandra, yes, she did. I mean, she's a gaslighter. she's a gaslighter. We might as well throw that title on her, right? She's a gaslighter because now, but then he falls for it because he's sitting there like, oh my God, Monique, you know I love you. You know I didn't mean to do it. Okay, I embarrassed you. Yet again, he said sorry. We should go back and watch every episode and count the amount of times that Chris apologized to her for just using his words. I don't know. Do you have anything else to add about that, Robin?
I do have one thing. Somebody earlier, you posted something that said that she has outgrown him.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember being very young, like in my, like straight out of college or maybe still in college. And I went to a friend's wedding. No, I'm sorry, somebody else. A friend told me about premarital counseling where the pastor had my girlfriend and her fiance sit across the table from each other. And he said, look at each other. Can you see yourself with that person that's sitting across the table from you right now for the rest of your life if nothing changes, right? And that was so profound. That has stuck with me forever because people who fall in love with potential are putting themselves in grave harm for a demise of a relationship. And so that she may have outgrown him, either that or he's being so kind to her because he was a football player and maybe he's been too concussive and he does not know how to fight back.
You gonna make me choke. Oh my God. I cannot.
I think that was mean. I'm sorry. I really like him.
Well, listen, we gotta attribute this behavior to something, right? He's always apologizing. I don't get it. I'm with Nessie too. He should man up and be himself. You know what? He should, but I'm telling you, he's like a puppy dog under her spell, and he's just never gonna let it go. The live I saw that time, literally he said, if Monique leaves, I'm running right behind her. And I'm paraphrasing the words, but that's pretty much what he said. And he's under the impression that what he saw also on the screen or on the show, he doesn't feel that Monique, belittled him. It's just our eyes, I guess, are failing us.
Well,
Because
maybe
go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was gonna say maybe he's so set on making this work and making happen because he doesn't want his mama to be right.
Maybe so. Maybe so. Or I can't call it. Monique said she would said we would get to see the real her, and we did. Come on, Sheila, didn't we though? I'm highly disappointed. Like highly disappointed. Like level 20 disappointed. She sure did. She said she was gonna give us something different. This is different. You bashing your husband. I think she fell in love with what he had and not him. Possibility. And it's also a possibility at the very beginning, because she had nothing, so to speak. She was in love with him. She was in love with the life. But I think once she went on the Real Housewives of Potomac, and it could have been before, but I think for sure, once she got on the Real Housewives of Potomac, I think she really started feeling herself. And I think she really started getting it in and using those words in a vicious way against her husband. You know what I mean? I really do. He seems to be a beta male when it comes to Monique. Yeah, he's a mess, right? He's just a mess. And it's sad to see. I wonder what his male friends are saying to him.
Does she let
That's
him
what
have
I was
friends?
thinking about. Huh?
Does she let him have friends?
Well, that's true too.
He could be isolated. I mean, there are so many different reasons that we could come up with for his meek behavior. It could be that she's his entire world and the kids. We don't know
Yeah.
that. Although he did say that the scammer was his friend, but it was like a friend through business, really.
Right.
And I think that what the one thing that is always missing for me in these reality shows is how self-contained the cast is, in the sense that they very rarely have any kind of discussion about people in their lives outside the people on the screen. And I think that that would be a very interesting view for us. For example, we met Chris's mama. We have never seen, heard of, nothing about anybody from Monique's family that I can recall.
You know what? You know what? You
Hmm.
are correct. We haven't seen her mother.
Nope.
Do she have a brother, a sister, anybody?
See?
You know what? We got to start digging, Robin. You're right. I think Chris is used to Monique disrespect and doesn't understand how he's being treated. Amy J, you are probably correct. You know what? You get so used to something that is your norm, and it's
Right.
not until other people start telling you, like, girl, or that's just not right. Do you know what I
Hmm.
mean? So yeah, it's crazy. Um, People are looking for protection. We are all for it. Monique could do a lot worse. Be grateful. Fifi, but talk to me about that, right? I don't think I'm definitely not looking for perfection, but what I'm also not looking for is for you to be married to a man and you're sitting on this screen, and the minute your man opens his mouth, all you portraying and giving us is how terrible and how dreadful he is, right? Now, let's do this. Here's the thing. If you notice, most of these other couples on these reality shows, even when their men are derelicts, they will still stand by their man on that screen.
Hmm.
Now, what they do behind the scenes, we don't know. Teresa stood by her man.
Right.
Phaedra, for the most part, she was telling O'Connell, like, back down, don't make me do this on TV. But she stood by her man. She
Hmm.
came to with Apollo to the reunion, and Apollo was already in trouble.
Hmm.
Okay. But if we list all the couples hands down, go down, down, down the list, even when their husbands were or their boyfriends or whatever was a mess, they still stood by them, right?
Right.
Monique is looking for Chris to be kind, hardworking, motivated, etc. What do you mean? Maybe we're missing each other, Fifi.
For
Well,
sure.
yeah, because I think Chris is kind. He is. I mean, if I already have all my money in the bank, you still want me to go work for what? Just so we can portray something to the people that I'm still working? I don't know.
But
And we
he's
used to.
coaching. He's doing some coaching now. He
Oh,
was
okay.
coaching like a high school team or something. He's doing something. He's working, and you know what? He's working enough that they still got those 4 homes.
I'm
They
trying to
just
tell
went to the
you.
motherland.
I'm trying to tell you. I'm trying to
Hey,
tell you.
you know what, Diva? I have another question.
Oh,
I
yes.
don't want to bash Monique, I swear, but I'm just now thinking of these things. With all these character traits that we have seen displayed by Monique,
Mm-hmm.
if the roles were reversed, how many of us would be calling her battered,
Oh,
abused?
everybody. Everybody. Okay, Fifi, I get it. I misread what you were saying. So you said Monique is looking for perfection in Chris. Yes, she is. I think she is. But you know why I think she's nitpicking on everything? When you no longer really want a person, that's what you do, right? You
Hmm.
nitpick. They can't do nothing right. But what the problem is, you really don't want them, right? When
Hmm.
somebody wants to tell you, oh, you left the towel here, you left this there, and then you try to do everything perfect, and even when you do everything perfect, you just opening your mouth annoys them. They don't want you no more, right?
Hmm.
So that's what's going on with Monique. I don't care. Chris could be so like perfect, and it's still she's gonna find a fault in his in what we look at as perfect. Because to me, Amy J, I dropped the link again. It's coming through. To me, I'm gonna be very honest with you. I think no matter what Chris does, Monique is going to have a problem. And to tap onto what you said, Robin, I agree with you 100%. If a man was on TV telling a female everything, every time she opened her mouth to shut up, no, you're wrong, this, that, and the other, we would be in an outrage.
Hmm.
Because it's happening to Chris, I don't know. Are we? It's like people eyes are closed. I don't know what's going on with that. But you brought up a very good point. Mo is encouraging Chris to go hang out or work because it's another reason for him to get away. So Monique, so Nessie saying she want him out the house so she can do what she do, and it won't be noticeable, I guess, that she's off doing her thing because he's gonna be busy working. Yo, she's beyond a nag. She's beyond a nag. But you are correct, Natasha. She's a nag. She lives a lavish lifestyle, and it's allowed to live great. I'm trying to tell you, Millie, she doesn't get it. I'm telling you, he needs to push her in those streets for like 60 days, and maybe she'll come back and act differently. Amy J, you're in the building. What's going on?
Hey, you know what I was
Hey.
thinking? I watched this interview with Laura London talking about Nipsey Hussle and how she no longer is looking for love. She's like in a relationship with her ego. One thing I took from that interview is how much she loved him, right? And she
Mm.
spoke of him highly, 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 highly. And I think that's what people don't see with Monique. I think she thinks Chris is dumb. She thinks
Mm.
he's dumb. She feels like she has to lead him to water. And that's just not a good situation to be in if she feels that way, right? But at the same time, the level of disrespect that this woman has for him, where she won't cover him and be respectful in the public with him, that has to
Mm.
stop. That has to stop. Because if you see the two speak, and I know Nipsey is gone, but the way this woman speaks about her man, her husband, and what they had, there is a level of respect that's there. And I'm sure people in their death they hide a lot of flaws, but I feel like when you're married as a wife, that is your duty to make sure your husband's covered. And the way
At the very least.
at the very least, in the way she speaks of him, I think she looks at him like he's some dumb jock that she has to take care of. And I saw her at the end of that episode looking at Quick and Ashley with more than just admiration, more so envy.
Yes, that's up. Amy J, you caught it, right? She's jealous.
Yeah, she wants
She,
that.
she wants that. But what she doesn't realize is that she takes off the blinders off her eyes. She has that and more.
Yes.
He has that and more. I mean, Chris cannot support her any more than he already does. You did that not for lazy's nonsense and didn't sell a ticket and was 200 grand in. Do y'all remember that?
That's right.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I was trying to remember what it was because I was going to bring that
Is
up as well.
maybe
That he was just funding her, just throwing
Yeah,
money like he was
yeah,
like
but
they was at a strip club and she was a stripper.
the
yeah.
thing, the
So
thing that makes me mad
gosh,
is that
Valley.
I think she talks too much for him to even open up to do something that nice for her.
No,
I
he
feel
does though, Amy J. But hold on one second. Angel Eyes, you're in the building. What's up?
Ain't nothing much. I mean, I am sitting back just listening. I try to watch once or twice, but I am just annoyed with the whole franchise on its own. It's just a little messy. With the married couples, it's just getting too messy for me. But speaking about Monique, um, the reason why her husband doesn't really answer, so like I put earlier in the chat, is because if he does go on her run, he probably will step out of pocket and we the viewers we can go in on him because you don't know what all pent up arguments he have. That's probably why he is still working. He
Mm.
probably don't have to work, but then he works to avoid her.
I
But he
don't
works
think
to avoid the arguments, and then it is always easier to be honest with you. It is always easier just to allow some people just to go ahead and be ignorant if they want to, just so that just so that she could show that she is the boss. Okay, yeah, you won't wear the pants, go ahead, wear the pants. But at the end
yeah.
of the day, I in charge. So I think that he rules, but he rules from a place of quietness, and then his rule isn't so loud that we are so used to. So therefore problem in allowing her to be ignorant, stupid, and crazy. Whenever he is tired of it, he just will leave. That's it.
Well,
He just
well,
will
well,
leave. But
he got a large threshold. But let me read this, Obi, and this is coming from a man. Trust me, a woman in love with a man will respect him regardless and even cover up for his foolishness. I agree. In this case, Chris is not even foolish. He is a very good guy, and this is coming from a guy. No, Chris, I think we all can agree that Chris is definitely a good guy, right? So unless Monique comes out with some crazy bombshell, um we're going to stick to that story. I'm not sure of a lot of women would love Chris Samuels. With oh, you said I'm sure a lot of women would love a Chris Samuels in their life. Millie, I'm trying to tell you, The Chris
Yes.
Samuels do not come a dime a dozen. Okay, Monique. That's what I'm saying. He needs to push her out in these streets so she know that she thinks she's going to get something better. Woohoo! These men, and there's a lot of men that ain't even going to let you open your mouth up like that to them. She speaks to him like he's a big dumb jock. Yeah, she's forever emasculating him. That's not a good look, not at all. Wait, Nessie said Chris needs to hang out with Jamie on board to develop some rough edges. Well, you know what? Jamie is the extreme, but I do agree with you. Yeah, she underestimates Chris. Yeah, it's a mess. Yes, so the name is not for lazy moms. It's a terrible, terrible brand name. And Chris, even when he was telling her that she needed to pull back because she wasn't even selling any tickets to this thing, he wasn't even aggressive with it. He wasn't even putting his foot down. He just said it softly and nicely, and she still had the mess with she didn't sell no tickets.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I think she bullies him. She bullies him all the time, and she gaslights him because at that horse thing, she gaslit him, right?
Mm-hmm.
She turned the whole thing back on him to make it seem like, I always got to prove myself. That was so disrespectful and embarrassing. You were embarrassed because he mentioned a girl and he didn't even mention his girl name and he didn't even get the whole sentence out because you
He was
stopped
trying to
that.
express how much he loved her, even though he used an example that was inappropriate. He was trying to show how much he loved
He
her.
was, but you know what though? I honestly didn't think the example was so dreadful as she was making it out to be.
It wasn't bad at all.
No, it wasn't.
But then,
It was. Go ahead.
okay, but I hear you, right? But my thing is, I'm wondering what is he going to do as he's watching this
I
play
don't think
back?
I think he's in
Um,
protection mode.
pardon?
I think he's trying to protect her because you see the clip, he was talking about no, Monique's not trying to leave me. I was like, boy,
Yes, he is. Yes, he is trying to protect her, right? But then my thing is when he actually looks back on this, particularly now, see, it was one thing on Potomac, but now here it is. We're on a totally different platform. We're on a totally different show, whereas the spotlight is on us, and now here it is. All of your shortcomings is being played out front and center. What is he going to do once he sits back and he looks at this? Common sense got to kick in at some point for
Well,
me. It
Angel
ain't
Eyes,
gonna
I'm
be
telling
long.
you, Angel Eyes, I'm telling you, it's not. It's not. Because when they already see it, they're seeing it in real time with us, right? So he already saw it with all he needed to see, he already saw. And if you saw the clip for the reunion, like Robin was saying, he like and Monique's not trying to leave me. Come on, Chris, wake up.
and
The
then she
see
said,
Ted said this.
she laughed. What is that about, girl?
Yeah, child, exactly. Said you are correct. Look at his Biggie impersonation. He is funny. Yes, he is. Can we see the real Chris? But she's never going to let us, right? Monique
Mm-hmm.
have used him already, and Chris means a strong friend or foundation. She does not allow him to speak or to be him. She doesn't. And you know what I'm leaning towards? I'm leaning towards she done kicked all the friends in his family out of his life. And even if I think they called him during the show while they was watching it and say, Chris, she's making you look like a fool. He explains it away and he's like, no, Monique is good. I love her. We're fine. She means well. And he's delusional.
Yeah.
He's a
He's
bad
delusional.
But
husband.
after in that case, we have to look at him and find out what's wrong with him. That means that he lacks self-esteem. Then, if he is going to sit up here, a big grown man, and then to allow such a low-class person to talk to him at any kind of way, because at the end of the day, yeah, Monique probably might have one or two talents, but at the end of the day, it's him that is supporting her. It is on his fame that really made her. So, it's like, what does that say about him? What trauma did he go through? What girl hurt him
Monique.
in the back that like he has to deal with her?
Well, you know what I think is a mixture of, and Millie said this is the love from college, right? that when she mentioned when Monique was extremely jealous when he mentioned this love from college. She really was, but she stays in defense mode. She stays in defense mode, and I don't know why. Chris has rose tinted glasses on when he looks at her. Well, we need to get him some bifocals or something, because I'm done with Chris not understanding and seeing what the heck is going on with Monique. But he's sitting next to her after reunion, like, nah, she's good. No, Monique will never leave me. Chris, wake up! Hello, I can't
Yeah,
with him.
Chris is delusional at this point. I think he's hoping that people would, but I think that their relationship banter is hard to watch.
It
Now
is.
he realizes how bad she talks to him, and even with everyone's response to it, they still don't get it. She is very preachy. She talks down to him. Doesn't see him as an equal. And I think that this bothers everybody. It bothers me because if you see a person who really genuinely cares about her, because he's being respectful, most people would have been snapped off.
They would have.
You know what?
They would have. And like I said, if I have time, I'm gonna go back and count the amount of times he apologized to this chick, and she rarely ever. I don't even know if she ever did apologize to him, like ever. Mel, you have entered the building. What's up?
Mel.
Hey, ladies, how you doing? How you doing?
Hey.
Mel.
I'm doing good as a thank you very much. I'm having a wonderful Sunday. I'm not going to be that long, but I was because you're talking about my favorite subject, which is Chris and Monique. I had to jump in real quick because. Okay. And now you know what, Miss Diva, I think that I'm going to say Monique is a veteran. I'm joking.
Okay.
I was joking.
I'll accept that. Monique is a veteran. Go ahead.
I'm joking. No, I think, you know what I think this is what I'll say to Chris. You see, I love that you're talking about them this way because I was saying this when she was on Potomac. I liked Monique when she first got there, but I didn't like her when she and Candace had a separation of their friendship because I was Team Candace in that regard. Now we go over to this show. My question to Chris is, where's your mother? Your mother was telling the truth on Potomac. She was telling all the truth about your relationship. A mother never going to lie. She's going to be very protective. So I think that Chris needed, as you all ladies are saying, you need to look at your relationship in a realistic way. You know, I don't think that they have like a dirty, crazy relationship, all the rumors and salacious. I just think that, you know what, he's sort of I can't use that word on polite YouTube. You know, with this idea that, you know, they say you're whipped. I think that he may be whipped in that relationship. And he does love her very deeply, 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 but get a backbone. Get a backbone. You don't have to be angry and dismissive or that kind of stuff, but you are owed respect in some aspect, and it should be 50-50. It shouldn't be just a relationship where you adore her solely and she's trying to fix you all the time or putting you down all the time. You know,
right.
But that was the way they were on other channels. That's why the girls ate them up over there. They was just always making fun of that relationship. But he was so protective of her, he didn't see the truth. I don't think Monique's a bad lady, but I do think she can be selfish. I'll be honest with you. I think she can be selfish.
Selfish is an understatement.
Yeah, and then she
because it's always me. You embarrass me. You bringing up this old chick, but what about me? It doesn't look good that you bringing her up and I'm the one that won out. Girl, why don't you build up your own self-esteem? If my husband for XYZ years wants to give an example and mention some other chick who hasn't been around, we don't know where she at, what's going on with her, I'm not going to be bothered or moved by it.
And she
now he's still talking to this chick. Now that's a whole nother problem.
And amen, Miss Diva. So now the thing is, I would say Monique, listen, he can talk about this person who hasn't been around for 100 years, but him talking about her didn't chase you out of Potomac on the other series. Them talking about your supposed relationships.
Hello.
You from Potomac over here and just a little section over here. So, you know, let's be realistic. You may have crossed some boundaries, not having a fear, but of course some boundaries. So for him to talk about another woman who treated him well, you know, it's not the baddest thing in the world. He adores you. And I think that she's just unbalanced sometimes and she's selfish and, you know, she wakes up and treat him well, or be honest and say, I want something different. Because I think it's just painful to watch sometimes.
It is painful to watch, Mel. I think you hit the nail on the head. It's painful to watch. And I cringe every time I see them. And I knew the minute that Chris finished explaining how he would marry her again, I knew that she wasn't going to say the same. I knew it before she even opens her mouth. And I was just like, and imagine how he felt in that room, in that moment, when your wife that you adore and you love is going to sit there and say, pretty much, no, I would not do again. I would just stay, having kids with him because our love was so much better. If this man is so dreadful and your love is so horrible, and when y'all get together in the most intimate way, you can't stand it. Why are you here?
Mm-hmm.
Why are you here? And if
She's
I was
bored.
her, I would ask Monique
So
that.
bored.
Say that
I
again.
said she's bored. She is bored with the relationship. She's bored because the fact that she knows that he loves her, because the fact that she knows no matter what she does, he is still going to be there. She's bored. She's bored. It isn't no challenge for her. It is now see, it would have been a difference had he stood up, and after that he shut her down. Then after that would have been like, oh my God, we have to go into counseling or whatever. But then she's bored. For her, there is no excitement. For her to know, well, I want over home girl, and that day is what she had to go back to. Was like, please stop talking about her. I want. She's self-centered. She is self-absorbed, and she
Yes,
has low self-esteem, right? So therefore, now here it is because he is trying to pump into her. I love you. This is why I'm staying. I love you. Building up her self-esteem. At first, I was thinking about maybe he had it, but actually, still listening to you all is more of her. She's the one with the low self-esteem, and now she's bored that he's pumping her up. So now she now thinks that everything about her does not stink.
right,
So now she feels
right.
like, well, you should be happy that you're with me because I am all of this and all of that, and you're a person beneath me. She's bored with him. He is not a challenge.
Everybody's bored.
He is not the
She's not bored.
prize that she had to run. I mean, she is not the prize I can call it, whereas she had to work to get him. So therefore he was the prize. Now she feels she's the prize. You need to appreciate me. That's why she's bored with him. That's why she talks to him the
I
way
think
that
you
she
hit the
does.
nail on the head. She initially thought he was the prize. Now she feel like I'm the prize because of this notoriety and this fame from the TV, and she is just ripping him to shreds. Monique is delusional. She thinks she can get another man as good as Chris. She is delusional. I agree with you. Chris is not perfect, but he tries so hard. He tries extremely hard, harder than anybody I think in his situation would. There are whole grown men, women are there who are praying for brothers to respond in course correct like he does. So she doesn't appreciate him. Correct. Literally, whatever Monique says he has an issue with, Chris tries to correct it. But like he even said at the horse thing, he said, "Give me a minute to fix it." It's like she says one thing and tomorrow she wants you to be perfect. She's looking for perfection, and that's never going to happen.
Right. So you were absolutely right, Miss Steve. I was going to say this too. Now, and I'm single. So for me, dating somebody, so that's a red flag for me. So if you're dating somebody and they constantly bringing up something that you need to fix, that's the time for me to go to leave the situation because I'm not going to live my life constantly fixing something to make somebody happy. I mean,
Right.
unless if I'm not hurting you and we having a good time, respectful, honey, at some point you have to accept me or either keep it moving. So I think
Yes. Come on, Mel. Come
well,
on.
you know what? You don't hear this side on Sherelle World from Miss Stevens. Sometimes this is Sunday side coming out. This is Sunday milk coming out. Well, yeah, because I think it's the case. Now, when you have kids, obviously there's something else that's going on there. So you had a lot of prayer, a lot of things that's going to happen. But at the end of the day, too, your kids want happy parents. And we don't want a person sitting around there always kind of nagging and picking on him. He's a good man. He's not perfect, as the person in the chat said. But I think that what I'm seeing with her is she's constantly just making up stuff to constantly take this man down. And at a certain point, I wish he would be man up, and I would say that to him straight. Say, listen, Chris, step to her. You love her. Say, listen, is there anything I can do that's going to make you happy? I mean, literally, can I ever make you happy? Because we can't go into 2023 with you constantly sending me a whole laundry list of things that's wrong with me. I'm going to stop right now in this summer, and you're going to either accept me as I am, a person who's the way I accept you, honey, the rumors about you, or
Mm,
come on,
mm.
or we gonna explain to the
Mm.
children that we love each other, but we just can't live together because now we're going down the toxic road. It's prayer works, but she has to really believe in it. And if you constantly Come on. So yeah, I think
I wanted to ask
I went to church a little bit. So
Well, no, I love it, Mel. Bring us to the church,
wanted to
okay? Because
add-
you give me 1 second, because you hit the nail on the head. At some point, I can't be perfect, but I'm not going to run around here with a chicken like my head cut off, trying to please you. If you can accept me, then we can do something and carry on with this relationship. But if you're going to keep giving me list after list, and I didn't even get through the first list yet of trying to fix whatever you think I need to be fixed. And like he even told Monique, I accept you as you are.
come on.
Yes, he did.
But you won't accept me.
But that's what I was going to say. I feel like
Exactly.
Monique needs to fill her own cup up, because if you're satisfied with yourself and happy with yourself, then you can give to others and be in a better space. I feel like she's half tanked. She doesn't have the energy to fill herself up, so she's blaming everyone else for her own insecurities and her own emptiness. Because he seems satisfied with who he is. She just doesn't like it.
Yeah, she doesn't. She's giving him a list of things to correct. Who wanted to speak? Was that you, Amy J?
That was me. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I said it. I said she needs to fill herself up. And I think I've heard this enough. When you come together as a couple, you need to be your whole self. You can't be looking for someone to complete you. You have to be completed. And then when you get to know yourself better, then you can go out to, in a relationship and not be looking for certain things in an individual that you don't even have in yourself.
Right.
Hello.
She's not very understanding. She's not loving. She's not caring, and she's not considerate based off of the stuff she showed us on that show. Now, it could be an edit, but from what I look at it, I was like, she carries a lot of characteristics that are not great. And
she doesn't.
looking at him to be this Superman that she doesn't even have, the stuff that she doesn't even have.
That's right.
Right.
Like she needs to get herself together.
Like GRP said, Monique's cup is empty. It's empty. She needs to fill her cup with self-love, with self-value. No one can do that for her. I agree, right? Because she's like, you embarrass me. I feel like I always got to prove myself. Even in the confessionals, if she's saying something, he has a thought, he can't say it because she's like, pretty much, she's like, shut up and let me finish. I mean, it's too much. It's way too much. Robin, did you want to add anything to this conversation?
I'm done with Monique. And even this whole thing about not letting him speak, I keep going back to that confessional when they were talking about their Valentine's Day night.
Oh my God.
That was she is also a show pony.
Yes.
She needs to be on all the time. I mean, this man was going to say something nice.
Yes, he was.
She doesn't trust him.
Yes.
She doesn't trust him to be who he is, or she doesn't like how he presents himself. And I just think, like a lot of people are saying, that she thinks a lot more of herself. I don't think that she thinks that he's dumb. I just think that she thinks that she's smarter than he is. I really believe that.
I can agree with that. And you know what? You said the perfect word. She's a show pony, right? He said, because obviously to me, they had a conversation about him speaking up more, right? Yes. So here he is in the confessional. He's proud of himself. There's a subject where he can use his words. He's about to speak. And she's back there like,
right.
Valentine's Day. It's
much.
like, he was trying to talk. And literally, he was still talking, but we couldn't hear a word that he said because she was performing, like you said, like a show pony. It's like, you can't let your husband shine for 2.2 seconds. But to go back to 1.2 seconds to this event that Ashley gave for her book, when he even was trying to compliment Ashley by saying, he was proud of her for doing her own thing or whatever, Monique was sitting there in envy. I think she wanted to burst. But I think the only reason why she didn't say anything is because she knew at that point we would have really saw her for who she is. She was completely jealous of Ashley and Quick and that whole situation.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
That's true.
It is because she has self-hate. She has self-hate. That's why she's jealous of anybody, especially her husband, that actually gets any attention that she feels she should be getting. So therefore, she has to always be on. She has to always have the last say. She have to always seem as if she is upright, as if she has everything going for herself. Why? Because she does not like who she is, and she is trying to project the characteristics in her head that she thinks that she's supposed to be, even though she don't have it. Come on.
Right.
See,
Mm-hmm.
let me play this for you. In order for you to hate someone so bad that loves you as much as he does, that means that his love is too much for you and you can't appreciate it because you are unable to understand it because you can't give it. I I cannot appreciate what I don't have, what I don't understand. She don't understand him because she can't appreciate him because she don't have that love to give. She needs to work on herself and she needs prayers and she really do needs to ask God for salvation now. When I said that he needed to wonder, we need to wonder what went on with him. No, we need to find out what went on with you that put you in the space of mind to think that you have to always um be on top in order to be validated. But you can't be validated with someone just saying I love you. They have to bend over backwards. He has to change everything. But what are you willing to change to please him?
Right.
What are you
You see,
willing to change to be a better person in the marriage? No. Why do he always got to change? You are not God. And the only person he should be changing for is God. That's the only person he really needs to be worried about whether or not he is pleasing.
mm-hmm.
Because God is the one that can take him out at any given time. So why
That's
is
true.
he bending
Yeah.
over backwards to you? You understand what I'm saying? But you were
Yeah.
trying to have this God complex as if everyone's supposed to look up to you as if you were God. Please,
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think
really? Really?
I agree. And I also think that for me too, I would tell Monique if I talked to her, I say, listen, just you know what, just think about the what you fell in love with him. Like obviously you're in love with the man. So I mean, it's
Not necessarily.
he can't speak in a way that's going to just turn off your love. He's the father of your children. It doesn't matter how he dresses or whatever it is. These are the real things. So all these things she does in these confessionals are superficial. It's all about,
Yeah.
be this way, be perfect. But that's not real. And you're actually ruining a relationship when you focus on superficial things. You're not uplifting yourself. I think that sometimes in our families, people don't always act the way we would like them to, but doesn't mean that the deeper part of who they are, we don't see as perfect. We say, oh, they love me. We have a good time. She doesn't go there. She stays in the superficial, I think. But I also feel sad that Chris' mother is not around as much. And I think that when they was on Potomac, she was just a protective mom. I always knew that the way they edited her was a little wrong because she was like seeing the unedited version of Monique that we never saw. So that's why she's
Right.
more harsher with her. So and also Monique's friends, and also listen, I'm not a Giselle friend, but looking at this show, I'm like, damn, Giselle clocked her real good because on Potomac she was reading her left and right for everything. Now we hear a year later saying everything that Giselle was saying in the confessional, and we call her a monster, and I did too. But now
Yeah, we did.
you know what? I think that it's funny with reality TV when you see these people up front without editing. You see them, and then in a confession, you turn to a monster. At least the audience thinks you are. But now I'm thinking, Giselle, you clocked it correctly. You got her.
She did. She did. So see, normally people like Monique, they think they can outsmart everybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she felt she was coming to Love and Marriage DC. She was kind of giving the middle finger to Andy and to the Real Housewives of Potomac. And we saw that in her beginning episodes in her confessional when she kept saying, oh, that other show. Well,
Mm-hmm.
honey, little do you know, you look better on that other show
Come
than
on.
you're looking on Love and Marriage DC.
All right.
You making even the people I think that loved her on the Real Housewives of Potomac are giving her the side eye on
Mm-hmm.
Love and Marriage DC. She didn't bring us anything that she promised us. She was going to show us family, this, that, and the other. We got none of that. We got a whole bunch of mess from her, and it's kind of sad. It's a sad sight to see. I don't want to see, all of these shows are supposed to be about couples, right? And it's like, can we see? I mean, I know they claim in reality, but can we see a nice functioning couple? And I'm not saying that couples don't have issues, but some of this stuff is just over the top. Monique, if I was living with a person like Monique, it would have been a whole situation. it would have been a whole situation. Like maybe 911 would have came to my house a couple times, but I'm telling you, it would have been a whole situation. I couldn't deal with her. I couldn't deal with her. I would not be able to deal with her. Like, she's just too much. But let's get into this really quickly, and then we'll close this thing out. So Ashley has her event, and here's the thing. Her book is called what is that name of that darn book again? Do that SHIT, right? Here's the problem I have. Listen, I'm happy that she's an author. I think it's nice that she wrote a book. I think when you are deciding a title for a book, you have to be real. Who's your target audience, right? And I get it. I get the message she's trying to get across. But as a new author, I don't know. I think she could have came with a different title, but that's just me. And
It was out the
club. Go ahead.
I said that title comes from out the club. You know, you on the dance floor. I don't know if they still do that now. Do that.
Okay. See? Well, you gave me a better insight. And her husband is a DJ. Okay. So you gave me a better insight. Well, you know what though? Then she should have explained it a little bit more, because she was taking it. I felt like she was taking it from an angle of she's going to help the people out. Like she's going to get you moving. Like, it's like a motivational book. But
I agree. But here's the thing. I just said that because I said what I said because I'm a spin doctor. I can do some PR. I can fix it and clean it up. I don't know what her book is about. I don't know what the intention is.
Well, girl, listen, you could be her PR. Listen, and let me tell you something, Robin. You want to know, honestly, because I'm saying her husband is a DJ, she could have got that thing done, right? You know, I would have mentioned my husband if that is a club thing. Like, that's where my title came from, y'all. You know how you be in a club and you getting it in. But I mean, I hope her book does well. I don't know if I'm gonna get it yet or not. I'm not sure. I don't even know if they're getting a second season. I don't know how this thing is going to go. But I will say this. If they do get a second season, I'm not quite sure if I'm watching yet. Especially because I do not want to see another season of the bash down and the beat down of Chris. And I think if they didn't have Winter on this show, that Winter whole situation with her calling him DJ Fun Size and calling the other one Red Light Special or whatever she called him, it took up about 5 episodes. So if Winter doesn't come back, and the word on the street is that Winter will not come back unless she has at least an ally on her side. If she doesn't come back, what's going to happen on this show? We're going to see the only thing that could happen is we'll see Chris get crucified on the cross. So I don't know if I'm going to be here for that. So maybe they'll dig
into Jamie and Arena's son.
I got to bring that up. That is correct. You know what, Robin? Let's talk about that really quickly, right? Well, go ahead.
I was going to say one thing because I actually have to get ready to go. And I love this show, but I was going to say that book. I agree with you, Ms. Diva. I don't know if I'll get that book too. If I see it at the Dollar Tree half off, I might get it. But I mean, if I see it in the Barnes and Noble, I'm going to keep it right there on the shelf. You know, that's not going to be for me. But you know what? With that being said, I love it. This is great. I love that I caught you live right now, and the ladies sending good vibes. Hope you have a wonderful Sunday. Blessed Sunday. And I'm going to see y'all soon. I'm going to talk to you soon.
Thanks, Mel. Talk to you soon. Okay. Yes, you know what? Let's talk about that scene, Robin. I almost forgot. That scene was a little heart-wrenching for me in a lot of ways, and I'm going to tell you why, right? First of all, Jamie Jr., we knew from when he first came on the scene, the first episode we saw him, you know, he was that child that got into a little bit of stuff. And, you know, it happens in families, right? It's real life. He was in the streets. He was doing whatever it was he was doing. I don't know this for a fact, but I get the feeling that he was into a little substance abuse himself. I feel that way. I don't know if you felt that way, Robin.
I did it 100%.
Right, 100%. And, you know, and he got a big case. This is not a little case. This is serious. I want to say they said it was 9 charges against him. A gun is involved. It's a lot. And then I don't know. What is with this circuit court? Like, I don't know much about this, but they said now they push this case to the highest court, which is the circuit court. That's a lot.
Uh-oh. I do know the
Yeah.
answer to that.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a lot. But here's the other thing. The lawyer said this also, that he can get mandatory time, but mandatory that with no parole. And I was just like, good gosh. But let me back up a little bit and
Quick,
talk
quick.
about
Circuit
Arena.
court, if I recall correctly, circuit court is federal court.
Mm.
That's the difference. And that's why if he's sentenced, there's a mandatory sentencing in the federal court system.
Oh my God. And then, yes, charges were serious, possible 5 to 25 years. I almost fainted when he said that. And also, in addition to that, the scene that really touched my heart is when Arena was talking about her dad, right? And how her dad went to jail when she was 7. And her dad unfortunately died in jail. Now, this is what I want to know. Does anybody know? When she said they couldn't even have a funeral and she didn't even get to see her dad, I'm like, okay, wait a minute. If someone dies in jail, their family can't give them a funeral?
Now they're basically like property of the state almost. Very wealthy, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Even when you die?
Yep.
See, now that's messed up. I mean, what is going to happen with a dead body? I mean, are you kidding me?
Not kidding.
So how do they bury these people? Do they give them a tombstone?
I don't know how that happens, but I'm speculating that they probably have something like a heart island for the prison system.
Well, that's dreadful. Yeah, you said we got to look into this. I thought the family gets the body. Well, from the way Arena said it, she would. I took it as no, they did not, because she literally said we didn't even get to have a funeral, and I didn't get to see my dad. And I was just like, okay, listen, jail, and this is the problem I have with jail, right? When you get sentenced to jail, that is your punishment. But I feel like these prison systems are set up where while you're in jail, they give you triple punishment by the other things that you're subjected to because you're in jail.
Free labor.
That's just my opinion, right? It's like you get sentenced over and over again every day that you are in jail. Now, what is going to happen with a dead body? You can send that body back over to the family and let them give this person a proper burial. Yes, please, Lisa, find out for us, because this is crazy. But that piece touched my heart, and Arena started crying, and I just felt for her there in that particular scene. And that's when she was saying that pretty much she didn't want her son to kind of live the same lifestyle, have the same things happen to him. But he got himself in a pickle. Now, they didn't list the charges for us, but when you talking 5 to 25 years, we know it's a problem. The prisoners who are the prisoners who the prisons bury are normally prisoners who families don't get them. All right. We have to see. In New York City, you have the funeral service for people that are locked up. So you're saying, Natasha, in New York City, they can have a funeral service for the people that die in jail. The body is given to the family unless the family's unknown. Okay. This scene explained a lot about Arena and her role in the marriage to Jamie. Fifi, I was thinking the same thing. I really was. It might be a financial issue. Who's going to pay? But you know what, Lady Lucy, I'm thinking, okay, your husband, cousin, brother, they died in prison. Send the funeral home or the coroners or whatever to get the body, and then you get the body from the coroners. I don't know. Federal court, you can get a whole lot of time. That is when you have the feds investigating you. He's in big trouble. And he seemed, I can't pinpoint his personality, right? Because it was like he was removed. It was like he was having an odd out of body experience when Jamie and when Arena and Jamie was kind of talking to him about, telling the judge that he's turned his life around, he's working, he's doing well. I don't know. How did you feel about that scene, Robin?
I agree. First of all, I did get emotional watching Arena talk about her father. But the son, he seemed like he was kind of medicated to me. he was, I don't know, it didn't seem like he was particularly removed. I think that he wasn't all there. I felt like he was not engaged at all when
Yes.
they were trying to get him dressed. And he was so, what really struck me actually about the son was that he told his parents the night before. So
But
there is
that's what
something,
these
those
kids do though,
synapses ain't
Robin. But
firing.
go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say them synapses ain't firing. Something's not going, something's not connecting. Because I thought that he didn't live in the house. So when did he come back to the home to be there, to have told them before going to bed, and for mom to be ironing his clothes? That was, I missed that somehow.
No, you didn't miss it. Something ain't clean in the water because but you know what? Let me take that back. Now remember when we first got introduced to him, that she was saying that she was afraid that somebody would come knock on the door and say that, something happened to him.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like maybe he was living with them at one point, but maybe he got kicked out because he was kind of for the streets. It's they're playing games with us with that scene, right? Because did he just come to spend the night because y'all needed to do the scene to go take him to court? Something's not right with that scene.
Yeah,
And then
there
he
was
got to find his shoes. And then the girlfriend looked like she could have been on a little something at some point in her life too.
that part.
Okay.
But dad thought that she was good for him.
Right.
And you got to be, by the way, Jamie is a detective. He's the popo. I understood his composure at the moment because of his profession, but inside I would be like, Negro, I'm the police.
You know what I think it is though, Robin? I think that he was of the mindset of, listen, he done got himself into this trouble. I think he was talking to him way before all of this. He got into the level of trouble that he got into, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes for the parents that have a child that has chosen the streets, you have to, for your own peace of mind, let them bump their head up against the wall, because no matter the amount of talking you do, they're not going to stop. And this is probably going to slow him down. Nessie, thank you. Gotta go. It's been interesting. Free Chris. Yeah, we got a free Chris. Chris has to blink 3 times too, so we can get him out of here. Thank you for the super chat. I truly do appreciate it. So you are correct, though. I really think that perhaps he was medicated. You're helping me connect a little better, because he was just standing there. I'm like, and I want to snap my fingers like, are you there? Do you hear your mother? Are you listening? It just seemed so removed. And I was like, what is going on? That you're about to face a major thing in your life here. I guess we could be glad, because I don't think that he has any children, right, Jamie Jr.?
No, I don't believe so either.
I mean, maybe that's the only saving grace in this piece so far, is that he doesn't have a child that is going to be impacted by this and affected, because I unfortunately, I don't want this to happen to him, but I think he's going to end up doing some time. I think he's going to end up doing some time. And these charges are nasty, anywhere from 5 to 25 years. And I wonder too, they didn't really mention it. Is he a first-time offender?
No, they said that this is not his first time, because I think he was on probation, or he was on probation. I think they
missed that.
On probation. That's why I think that might be what when the attorney was saying that they kicked it to the circuit court because he had other charges from before.
I missed that. Well, you know what? He's in trouble. I missed that. I was saying to myself, is this his first offense? Like, what's going on? He's in trouble. And I'm thinking he probably was selling.
Yeah, he was. That's because it sounded like he had a copious amount of drogas on him. And that's why they were like, you have to say that you've been on the straight and narrow. Remember, Diva? And you have a job now. And so those were things that they were trying, because to try to mitigate his past, to reconcile it somehow, to show that he was doing better. But he was doing better until he wasn't, right? He was doing better until he had the guns, right? He was doing better until he was found with the drugs.
Right.
I agree. I think that he done, you know how some people, what's that Foghorn Leghorn? So I keep throwing them, but you're not catching him. He caught this
Right.
case big time, easy ass.
Yeah, it's sad. He just looks like he's suffering from depression. He is, yeah, it looks like a lot is going on for him. Why is Arena checking if a grown man has completely cleansed himself?
No,
See,
no,
listen,
Diva,
listen,
she's right.
y'all
Not just
don't
that,
beat me up.
she's
Don't
right.
beat me up. On
No,
the
she's
26th of
right.
this month, my son is going to be 17, and I promise you, I'm all in the business. Did you use deodorant? Did you do this? Did you do that? So don't beat me up. I didn't feel no kind of way when she was ironing his clothes and making sure all was well. It's a terrible thing. I know it's not right, but I didn't feel no kind of way. But go ahead, Robin.
I agree with High Vibe. I think that he's not 17 years old. And when they were trying to put him, trying to put him together. They were gathering him up for himself, because if anytime you have to say, can you find your shoes? Did you put on deodorant? Did you wash under your arms? Did you get the creases and crevices? It was, yeah. They were really trying to gather him and present him as a full package that was,
they were.
It was different. It's not like your son, who's like, he's a 17-year-old boy. And they kind of do these
No,
things.
you know what? They were trying to make sure he went to court presentable. And I think all of them were nervous, right? It was a lot of nerves attached to it too. But I agree with you when you say Jamie Jr. He seems like maybe perhaps he was medicated or something, because I felt like they were staring at him and he was like staring past them. I don't know what was going on with him. And I don't know, maybe because he was super nervous. I don't know. The problem with lack of accountability, you literally don't ever feel what it feels like to face the mirror, fall and stand up on your own. I do agree with you, IJ Smiles. I totally agree with you 100%. Jamie Jr. has got a situation ahead of him, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens. But if they do another season, I think whatever is going to happen to him probably would already happen, and we're probably going to just get to hear about it. So, but that scene was very sad, very touching, very real, right? Because they allowed, and you know what, God bless Jamie Jr. for even allowing this to be filmed on Love and Marriage DC. So we end this event where a lot of phoniness happened, right? It was phony when Arena and Jamie, they want to go in the public bathroom and have sex. Why don't you stop? Why don't you stop, right? So that was phony. I'm glad they allowed Winter to be there. For the first time, though, I didn't like this hair look that Winter gave us. I didn't like that at all. That little short bob wig thing she was doing. It didn't fit her as the way some of the other styles that she did fit her. Tasha, to me, I hate to say this, y'all, she looked a mess. I didn't like that. I was trying to figure out what I felt like Cleopatra looked to me. I didn't like that Cleopatra look, right, on Tasha. And Tasha, again, she was mute at this particular event. Like, she barely said anything. How are you 25 and your parents have to make sure you're taking a shower, put it on the roller? I really cannot. We're going to Obi, we're going to say this about Jamie Jr. He was facing a lot. He could possibly was going to go to jail. So maybe he was, not himself, and they had to make sure, like, pull yourself together, because this is a serious situation. So we're going to chuck it up to that. We have to see. Okay.
No, you know what, Diva? He was similarly unanimated when we saw him in the parking lot talk to his mother. He wasn't really, and maybe that could be his affect. Maybe
you're right.
Because he wasn't very, none of that.
You're right. Even when DJ Quick was speaking to him. Remember when DJ Quick was speaking to him at the boxing event, like thing they went to? Cassandra, thank you so much for the super sticker. I truly appreciate it. I think he's been through a lot in his 25 years. I don't know where he veered off the road and what happened with him, but I think he's been through a lot. And maybe, like you said, this is just his personality, that's how he is. Yeah, he's been in those streets, though, but I wonder how long he's been in the streets. Do you know what I mean? I feel like he's been in the streets fending for himself for a while. Not saying it's the fault of his parents or whatever, but for some reason, I think he's been in those streets for a while, and we have to see, kind of what's going on with him and all of that. He has lived and ran a lot of mileage. He definitely has.
And for him to run the streets, as my recollection of Upper Marlboro, Maryland, is that you got to travel to get to the streets.
So,
and I mean, because it is very suburban, very much single family homes, acreage, and all of that. He had to travel to get into his business into trouble.
Yeah, he most likely did. So we talked about thank you so much. I truly appreciate it. So now we talked about we talked about this event and Jamie and Jamie and Arena going in the bathroom. Now Quick had a surprise for Ashley, right? And Ashley is messing up the surprise. So that tells us you already told her, somebody told her. She's like taking the old ring off her finger. She knew that Tank was going to be there. I felt like that whole thing was just so staged and it wasn't authentic at all. And I was just like, really, y'all? Okay, fine. Y'all needed something to do because the last finale show is always supposed to be something big and like a big boom and a big bang, and it kind of fell flat. It was okay. I mean, I was here for it. I enjoyed it, but at the same time, I was like, too much of it seemed so staged to me. I don't know how you felt about that.
Because it was
right,
and it could have been a really nice moment, even if it was staged from his perspective.
Right.
That she had knowledge, clearly had knowledge of it taking place. Really, what tanked it? Get it? Tanked.
Yeah.
That's messed it up for me.
Yes. It's like he cannot connect on a mental or emotional level. Is it maybe because of the drug use? Mary, I don't know, but he is disconnected, Jamie Jr. He's disconnected, and we would have to see more of him and maybe some other scenes to understand. Now that I'm thinking back to the scene where they played volleyball with what's the other son that is visually impaired?
I don't know his name. I
forgot his name. But when they went to play the volleyball, whatever that game with him, Jamie seemed a little bit, if I'm not mistaken, Jamie Jr. was there for that too, right? He kind of spoke up a little bit more when they had the dinner, when the other son was saying that he didn't want to be a DJ. But other than that, he just seemed like he seemed gone. He seems not there, right? And Toria, you said stage for sure, and it did not bite at all. Yeah, it was very staged. Yeah. What is the other son's name? Not Jamie Jr., the other one. Why can't it be Jamie Jr. does not really want to film? Maybe that's so, but I've seen Toria. There was other scenes where Jamie Jr. seemed just a little bit more engaged, right? The scene when they was at the dinner, right? And also the scene where, like I said, when they went for the volleyball, whatever. So it seems like there were other scenes where he was a little bit more engaged. But it's those other scenes when I think they was dealing with his personal life is when he kind of got like not there. Jason, yes, thank you. It was Jason. All right. So now the surprise with Quick, Arena and Jamie in the bathroom. And then, Quick getting down on one knee. It was cute. And having Tank there and singing, it was cute. It was a cute ending, I would say, even though it was staged. And now we know when you see the whole reunion clip, the reunion, they're going to get it in. And I knew they was going to come for Winter at the reunion. But what I didn't know is that Winter was going to potentially talk about, the other couples and their infidelity. I'm not sure if this is something Winter should have tread on. I'm kind of not. I don't know if I'm here for that. I think it's a tad bit messy. What did you think about that?
I think that we want to know. We don't want to see it. It's like, I really want to go to Africa, but I don't want to have to travel to get there. I can't hear you, Diva.
Oh, okay. Okay, no. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
What I said was, I said I think that we kind of want to know, but we don't exactly want to see it. It's kind of like,
Mhm.
I want to go to Africa, but I don't want to have to travel to get there.
Yes, we want to know, but she should have known because I saw her do a live too, right? What she should have known was though, if you're coming at somebody's marriage and you're gonna bring up that there's infidelity that you know about, then yeah,
Mhm.
they are gonna tag team you and come down on you. So the live she did that I saw, she pretty much was saying how like they pretty much gained up on her. But yeah, if you sitting there and you gonna come at this reunion talk about my husband cheated on me, and you got pictures and facts and texts and all of this, yeah, we're gonna gang up on you. We're gonna have some words for you. It's not gonna be a kumbaya moment. You're gonna get what's coming to you. So Winter got the sauce on them. Yeah, Winter got the sauce on them, but then she's wondering why they giving you back heat. You can't kick up the sand in the playground in somebody's face and not expect them to kick it back at you. I don't know if Kevin is going to be at the reunion. Time will tell. Time will tell. Arena and Jamie, you know nothing went down in that bathroom cringy. Yes, it was cringy. And yes, we knew nothing at all went down in that bathroom. Get out of here. It was so stupid. So after a sex therapist comes and talks to you, right? And y'all got a whole bedroom. That night y'all don't do nothing. But now at this book review or whatever, you're gonna go in the bathroom and get it in. Get out of here. And wait a minute, let me say this. I didn't throw this in there. Monique and Chris, y'all didn't turn the heat on and as cold as it was outside, because it was snowing when they went to that house. Y'all didn't turn the heat on, and Raina and Jamie said they were freezing.
Ooh,
Did you catch that?
I did not.
Yeah. Arena and Jamie said they was freezing in the confessional, so they didn't do anything that night because they just cuddled up together for dear life, and so they wouldn't freeze to death. Now I'm putting words in there and paraphrasing, but that's pretty much what they said. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, did they not turn on the heat in this place?
Maybe not.
Maybe not, right? Maybe not.
Maybe they don't have a caretaker, someone who could have maybe gone to the home ahead of time to prepare it to receive people.
Right. Now,
Oh
this
no,
is what I
no.
do know,
They did have
especially. Right. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
they did have something, because remember, they had the meal was prepared.
That's true. But
Oh,
they could have called somebody in to do that. They could have called
true.
someone in to do that. And
Good luck.
so, and then what I do know is like when you have these homes, if nobody is renting them out or staying in them, you do need to, especially if it's going to be a place where the weather gets cold in different seasons, you do need to keep the heat on or whatever on low and turn on the
Mm-hmm.
water every now and then so that so that the pipes won't burst and all of that good stuff. Yeah, they had a chef, but I think the chef came in because one morning we saw, I don't know what Monique was making, but she was making something when she was in the kitchen with Chris, and then Winter came down and pretty much was like, that she was glad that Kevin stopped by. So listen, guys, I'm gonna get out of here so I could run some errands before I see my nightly shows tonight. Thank you guys for coming through. I truly do appreciate it. And before we close out, Robin, what was your overall thoughts on this particular season?
I found this season to be an interesting look at different people.
Mm-hmm.
Introduced to some of them, especially my favorites actually were Quick and Ashley. It made me see Monique in a whole different light. And she did she did break one of those promises that she made, which you were speaking of. In some kind of promotional clip, she said, "Y'all gonna see Chris talk because the man can talk." She shut her mouth. That didn't happen. But I until this discussion, because I haven't talked about this show with anyone, I didn't know that I didn't think that I was interested in the life of Arena and Jamie and their family. And I would come back for a second season if they developed, if they gave us more about the families that were on. You said something earlier when you said Ashley and Quick didn't have a storyline. And I'm glad you said that, because this is reality television. And in my real life, I don't have a storyline. I have a life that I live. And if they're going to
Right.
give reality, you don't need to make stuff up and stage things. Just give us the real, And I think that that's something that they did for us. I think
Okay.
that there was no storyline. I mean, we call it storyline, and maybe that's the improper word.
Mm-hmm.
But when we looked at, we had this whole discussion today about things that were presented to us, as in the case of Jamie Jr. And it wasn't just, we didn't talk just about the nastiness. We talked about things surrounding incarceration, how people
Mm-hmm.
are treated, death of a prisoner, the impact on families. So I found that to be enlightening, that we could have
Mm-hmm.
a discussion based on what we saw that they present to us as reality television. So
I agree with you.
overall, I don't regret watching it,
Mm-hmm.
which I can't, like, I can say I can't stand the fact that I ever watched like the Nightcap with Carlos King. Those, so comparatively, so that's, I just want to say I enjoyed it. I didn't miss a thing, and as a matter of fact, I was lamenting the fact that I deleted last night's show because I wanted to revisit the part where Monique was talking to Chris, telling him, she wouldn't marry him again, until I remembered, oh, I can look at it on the own app or whatever online. So
Yeah.
I still intend to do that. So it was actually more thought provoking than I imagined it would be. And I'm here for anything that gets my mind working and thinking about things that are beyond just what's presented surface.
You know what? I do agree with you on that. I don't regret it. I was just disappointed that Monique promised us something different husband, on the screen. Will I
Mhm.
watch a second season? I talk a lot of junk. I probably will.
Mhm.
I don't know what they're going to do though, because people like a little bit of mess, and I think if it wasn't for Winter, there wouldn't have been much. Because I mean, literally, like I said, I'm gonna say about 5, 6 episodes, they was focused on the whole Winter situation,
Right.
and I don't see the couples getting into it with each other. So Winter was kind of used as a scapegoat, right? To give them something to talk about, and to have a storyline based off of, so that they can do a little something. But I think definitely I would love to see, because Jason got into the school. I would like to see more about that. I am going to try to dig more into this prison thing. And, if somebody dies in prison, like, where does the body go? I want to see that. And, I'm praying for Jamie Jr., because there's a lot more going on with that. And maybe if they give another season, we'll get to figure that out and see a little bit more with that. But Robin, thanks for hanging out with me. Listen, guys, I'm glad y'all watched Love and Marriage DC with me. I had a lot of fun. We're going to do the reunion next week. I can't wait. I will definitely be back with the reunion results and recap on next Sunday. So I'll see y'all then. Have a good day, y'all. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Can't find my